Please be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is the case of Johnson versus Taylor.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone.
Good day.
Ms. Johnson, you and your mother say even though the father of your 2-year-old son, Jaden Taylor, is a deadbeat dad, he has never denied him up until a couple of weeks ago. And today you claim to have medical evidence that proves Mr. Taylor is the father of your son. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Taylor, you and your mom say you have valid reasons why you believe you are not Jaden's biological father, and you now refuse to be in his life because he's not your child.
Yes, Your
Is that
Honor.
correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so Ms. Johnson, explain to me what happened a couple of weeks ago.
My son was over his house. He was only over there 5 days, and he texted me like, you need to get your son, and I'm not getting him until I get a blood test. Like,
Out of the blue?
out of the blue, yes. And I have here some evidence, too.
What kind of evidence?
A message that I would
Jerome,
like
let
to
me
show
see
you.
this. So wait, out of the blue, you all are co-parenting this little boy. How old is Jaden?
2.
2 years old. You're co-parenting him. Out of the blue, he said, come get your son?
Yes.
What is this evidence you handed me?
The message.
This is the message. Oh, he
Yes.
sent you a text.
Yes, on Facebook.
Oh, on Facebook. All right. It says, hey, get your son. I'm not getting him till I get a blood test. Somebody told me what you said, so I don't want him till I get a blood test. RS. I won't repeat that. I don't need him another day. You sent this message, Mr. Taylor?
Yes, Your Honor.
Why did you send this out the blue?
It was actually a week ago. Me and my son was in the house playing around. I was told someone was outside for me. I went outside. A girl told me she had something to tell me about my baby mother. She said Ms. Johnson told another girl that that Jaden wasn't mine. So I inboxed Ms. Johnson and told her I don't want him another day, and I want him.
So you actually had Jaden at that time?
Yes.
At that point, you're thinking, this is my biological child. I'm spending time with my son.
Yes.
And then somebody just comes over your house knocking on the door?
Yes. I mean, I believe it because she always say stuff like that. Like, she always say that he's not mine. I have actually...
I've never heard her say that. I've never heard her say that.
I
Not one
actually
time.
has a recording saying she said he's not mine. If you can hand this up.
You have a recording?
Yes.
Oh.
If she
Jerome,
said it,
let
she
me
probably
hear
just said
that.
it 'cause,
Where is it, in the voicemails?
Yes.
So just hit play and I'll hear the voicemail.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
That's not your baby. That's not your baby. That you right. That's not your baby. Somebody else the daddy. Somebody else is the daddy. Take him up off of your. That's what you could do. Take him all the way completely off of your. Period. Take him off. No, and I'm finna come get my own baby. How about that? That's mine. That's my baby.
Whoa. Miss Johnson, is that you?
Yes, it is me.
This
He
is you
messaged me-
telling him it's not his child?
Yes, this is after he messaged me that.
Right, and
That's all in the
probably
blue
after
on
the
my-
fact. If he's denying it, I mean, why wouldn't she say it? I don't blame her. If you tell
Why
her,
you- yeah.
said come get your baby, so of course they're young. So you're gonna say whatever to make him mad, just like he's saying stuff to make her mad.
So you believe, Miss Johnson, that she's just talking out of anger?
Yes, I think that was all out of anger.
But wait a minute. You didn't just say, let me come get my baby. You said, you right, it's not your baby.
Yeah, because he don't have to be. That's what I said.
So let me ask you this, Miss Johnson. Why do you think someone would just randomly come up to him and start talking about how you told somebody that he's not Jaden's biological father?
I think he made it up. Me personally, Your Honor.
Why do you think he'd make it up, Miss Johnson?
Because he don't want to step up to the plate and be a dad. He does nothing. He just,
Nothing.
That's a lie.
What you
I
do?
everything for
What
him.
proof? Where's the proof?
You ain't seen him in 5 months, so what you do?
I have a lot of proof. I sent.
Okay,
any
where is it?
receipts?
Can you see it? Can you
You got any
see that?
receipts?
No.
Oh,
You ain't got
okay.
that?
So wait a minute.
That's what I thought.
He don't have to have receipts. She know we do for
No,
him.
What
for
you do? What you
free.
do?
That
You
you
know
don't do
we do.
nothing.
It don't.
What
if
do you
it's
do,
free,
Yolanda?
It
I
doesn't
buy
matter.
him
be at
stuff.
home.
It doesn't matter.
Right, you
Don't
was
be
at
home.
long as he
bingo.
being
so-
taken
House,
care
you
of.
know who in your house.
Right.
At the end of
That's how
the
I
day-
ran away
All right,
over there to
let's get some order.
At the end of the day, when he's at my house and Jalen has something to do, Miss Johnson will not come and get him. I text her one time, my daughter texted her and said, can you come and get him? My mama need to go to the hospital. She never showed up. Never
So
showed
you're
up.
saying Miss Johnson leaves Jaden there and doesn't come back and pick him up?
Don't come back and get him.
That's usually why I don't get him, because she never come back and get him.
It took for my son to have pneumonia. Pneumonia in the hospital. Mild pneumonia in the hospital for them to even answer the phone. Like, you don't even know. That's irritating. It's like, he's lying. It's never lying.
To watch him, to cut off the phone. If you gotta hunt somebody down to get the baby, first of all, and then, you finally get the baby, then he wanna call, can you come back and get him and make up all these stories? You hadn't had him in a while. He just, ain't even the truth that you probably went to the hospital.
This is just
I've sent messages.
Is there any communication?
No,
There is.
No, it's not.
We hardly talk, because I don't like talking to her, as you see it through the voice message. That's how she talks to me.
No.
That's how she talks to me on a regular.
All right, up until this point, Ms. Johnson, he never denied Jaden up until this point, about a week ago. You never heard that come out of his mouth?
I've never heard it. I just heard rumors that he said it. That's why he went 5 months without seeing him.
When the baby was born, they had their whole family there. Daughters with the baby's father there and everybody. So,
Was the whole family there,
whole family.
Mr. Taylor?
I had to
Ms.
put them
Taylor?
out.
Were you all
Slew of 'em,
anticipating
Your
the
Honor.
birth of
A
this baby
slew.
because you truly thought it was your biological child?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you remember when your son said, somebody told me that the baby's not mine?
Actually, I didn't hear that until just recently.
Mr. Taylor, something that important you never told your mother?
She be a little too busy, so she'll never be at the home.
Too busy to find out that the grandchild she thinks is hers is not her biological child? If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. Have you ever asked for the DNA test?
Yes, Your Honor, I have proof of that right here.
You have?
I'd
like to see that, Jerome. You asked for a DNA test. Tell me the story. How did that happen?
Actually, the court sent in a paper saying I had to go take a DNA test. I went down there to take a DNA test. After I left, I messaged Ms. Johnson and told her that she was supposed to come with me to take the DNA test for my son. After that, she said, I told her she had to go down there and schedule one for him. She never
He only
went
went
down there
because
to
child
take
support started sending him letters in the mail.
Yep.
That's why he went,
Yep.
to be truthful. That's
Okay,
really why he went.
so he was ordered
He didn't
to
want to be on
submit.
child support.
So what you're saying is he didn't ask for the DNA test. He was ordered to submit.
Yes.
Okay. And so this paperwork confirms that you did go and submit to the DNA testing.
Yes, Your Honor.
You had it done, but what you're saying is she never showed.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you not show up with Jaden, Miss Johnson?
Not intentionally.
But Jaden was about 9 months old when this happened.
Yes.
That's like over a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had, you never showed up to get the DNA test done?
No.
Why?
Because I felt that it wasn't necessary. He wasn't denying him then. I knew he was the...
So you're saying he was not denying Jaden, so you felt like, what's the use of going to have it?
Right. I mean, yeah, it wasn't no question, supposedly then. He all over his Facebook and everything else.
Mr. Taylor, did her not showing up somehow fuel your doubt?
A little bit. I mean, I always been around him. Like he was always with me. He, like she said, he's all over my Facebook, videos, pictures. I like little conversations we have. I post them on Facebook and stuff like that.
So how is it that some one person out of the blue can walk up to you and just say, you know what?
Exactly.
That baby you've been with for 2 years, that's not your child.
Exactly.
She always say it. She always says
It's
when we get into an argument.
The point is because when you get into an argument, Miss Johnson confirms it.
Yes.
Have you said it more than one time, Miss Johnson? Mm-hmm. So you know you can't unring that bell. Mm-hmm. You know that.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, you know, once you say that to a man, he's never gonna forget that. Mm-hmm. Men forget a lot of things. Right, Jerome? But they don't forget that. And honestly, how could they? So you know you have a part to play in fueling this doubt, right, Miss Johnson?
Yes. I do have one paper that I would like to show you.
I'd like to see that, Jerome. What is this evidence showing?
This is just basically his eczema that he has.
Okay, the child has eczema?
Yes.
Okay.
Heart murmur.
And a heart murmur, yes.
And a heart murmur.
If you look at...
Just like Mr. Taylor has. Mr. Taylor also.
And you believe that these are two medical issues that the child has in common with Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor, do you have a heart murmur?
Yes, I do.
And Ms. Johnson, you say Jaden was born with a heart murmur.
Yes, diagnosed at the hospital like 1 day old.
All right, I'm very curious about this heart murmur issue, and I would like to hear from an expert on this. Jerome, can you please escort Dr. Tasneem Bhatia into the courtroom? Thank you.
Usually go up to the witness stand right next to the judge.
Hello, Dr. Taz.
Hi, Your Honor.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Dr. Taz, I have a few questions for you. Number one, heart murmurs. The plaintiff has asserted that the child suffers from a heart murmur, also our defendant. What exactly is a heart murmur?
So a heart murmur is really just an abnormal sound in the heart rhythm. Normally you're used to listening to the heart and it goes lub-dub. With a heart murmur, you may have an extra sound or some sounds that are not classic to the normal pattern.
Okay, and so are they hereditary?
It's a great
Is there a
question.
genetic link?
There is not a genetic link with heart murmurs. The majority of heart murmurs are innocent heart murmurs, meaning they're just changes in flow. They come on with either a newborn right at birth, or they have, in an adult, they have something to do with pregnancy or things like that. So heart murmurs, you know, for all of us that practice day in and day out, are not genetically linked.
Understood. Ms. Johnson, after hearing that testimony, are your feelings still the same? Is it the same belief?
He knows that I ran away from my mom's house. He knows it. We had played a game of truth or dare one time, which led to us having a baby.
Oh, Lord.
It wasn't that. We didn't have sex that day. We had
So what?
sex
But
the
you
next
just
day.
and you already told the conception date and everything. You know this. I don't even know why you sitting up here playing with me.
Well, I didn't know that part, Your Honor, but
Well, did you know that she ran away to his house?
yeah. She actually ran away, but whenever I found her, she was over to his house. See, Yolanda's never at home, so she didn't know who's in her house. So whenever I would come by and see Deja, you know, I always knew where she was. I didn't just
Apparently, I was
abandon-
there when Deja.
I didn't
when Ms.
abandon my
Johnson
child.
came
I
over
never
there.
would.
When
you
she
know.
came walking through my door, I was there sitting in the dining room. So if I'm never
well,
there,
everybody walks
I
through your
wouldn't have
door
never saw her.
and hang out, and of course.
Listen. At the end of the day, these were two young people that needed a little more supervision.
True.
Right?
True.
But a game of truth or dare has led you to paternity court. And now we have yet another young person in the middle of this thing that in a minute, he gonna be standing in front of me if we don't stop this train from rolling. So let's get back to the issue at hand. Were you intimate during that time with anyone else besides Mr. Taylor?
No.
Why do you, why?
How would you know?
She was
That's
out
what I'm
there.
trying to figure out. How do you know?
She was out
How
there.
do you
You're
know?
right. I was not
Right, how
there,
do you
so
know when I was
therefore
living in
I
your
don't
house?
know.
Your son wanted me
were
there.
You were
Your
out
son
there.
wanted me there.
One at a time.
Your
You were
son
out
wanted me
there.
One
there.
at a time. When you say she was out there,
was out there.
respectfully, what does that mean? She was promiscuous, she was known
Yes.
to be
Like you, huh?
Yes.
This is a difficult situation. Even more difficult because we're dealing with very young people. What are you hoping for?
To be honest, I just want to get it over with and want to know if he is or isn't. Because if he isn't, then, you know, I won't be there. But if he is, I'll be there. I've been there his whole life.
That's right.
And Ms. Johnson, you're emotional. What are you feeling?
I don't care. I don't even care. I don't care about this. I'm ready for this to be over with. I don't care. I don't even care no more.
You don't care if your
No,
child
I don't
knows
care.
his biological father?
He don't need him.
He does.
No,
if
he
he's-
don't.
If he's his biological father,
No, he don't. Or you.
Baby,
Yes, he does.
he needs his father and you need yours. Let me tell you something.
That's right.
Let me tell you something. I've been doing this too long. I know those tears. I just wanted you to be able to say it for yourself because that's one of the reasons why this courtroom is here, is to give people a voice. I don't care how young you are, how old you are, everybody deserves a moment to be heard. If you don't want to express it or you're not ready to express it, that's fine, and you may not have the words. But what you're not gonna sit up here and do is talk for Jaden irresponsibly and say what he doesn't need in the form of a father, because he does. And because of that, I'm gonna get these results, not just for you, but for this child as well. Jerome, I'm ready.
There you go.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics and they read as follows. In the case of Johnson versus Taylor, when it comes to 2-year-old Jaden Taylor, It has been determined by this court. Do you want to watch Paternity Court on TV? Go to paternitycourt.tv to find your local listings. Mr. Taylor, you are the father.
Exactly, Ron. Thank you.
Like I told you.
No.
Like a
If you're
mom.
not gonna, don't start that nonsense.
Thank you.
Don't start that nonsense.
Can I go to?
When I gave you a chance to say something, you ain't had nothing to say. Now I read the result, you gonna pop off. Not in here. That's what we're not gonna do, because this is an important moment.
Okay about it. It's all right.
I'm going easy on you both because you ain't nothing but young people running around here engaging in activities that produce human beings, human life, and you can't take care of yourself and you can't take care of them. You gotta grow up now, and we gotta pull this thing together for this child. I mean it when I say I don't wanna see him in here 20 years from now. I can't tell you how many times I sit in this seat and someone stands right where you're saying and says, I didn't know my father. My mother didn't know her father. This will continue unless you stop it. And the way that you stop it is to figure out how to co-parent, how to allow this beautiful, innocent child the opportunity to experience the best of both of you. And that's hard to see right now because you all are so young, but you have to do it. You brought them into this world, now you gotta raise them. Moms, we need you there for support, not instigating. So you all gotta stop all this fighting back and forth now because we have clarity. We have counseling and resources for all of you. I want you to take advantage of it. He is worth it. Do you understand me?
Yes, yes.
I wish you all the very best of luck. Court is adjourned.